Well, howdy do, buckaroos. How the heck are you? I am Tony Beer Whisperer. We're having a Friday night. Friday, Friday night. It's Friday night here at the Beer Whisperer Pub. I hope some of you can pull up a stool and have a beer and join us. I'm getting ready to pop this. Usually when you join me, I've already got a beer popped. I don't yet. I'm getting ready to pop this one. I had a 4-pack of this Wolpertinger. It is Urban Chestnut's 5th anniversary ale. It's for 2016. It is triple fermented. They say they use 3 unique yeast strains for a Belgian-like beer. It's incredibly complex, and yet it doesn't add crazy ingredients. It just uses a whole lot of uses a unique yeast and a whole lot of varying malts and hops. It's aged in bourbon barrels and burgundy barrels to create this incredible complexity. I'm going to pour that, and I'll let I'm joined by Red Rooster, who's going to tell us what he's drinking.
Hello, folks. Hey, Tom, how are you?
I'm good. See, I've even got my Urban Chestnut glass. It's kind of it's got that hazy kind of, I don't know what color you'd call that, kind of a, basically kind of an amber, I guess, cloudy amber maybe.
Okay,
So
what are you drinking? All right, well, I was clearing out my beer refrigerator, and I have some bombers that I've picked up that I've got kind of hidden in the back, and I got this one that I dug out. It's Throwback Brewery, which is a brewery in New Hampshire, and I actually got the beer at the brewery last year when I went on vacation up there, and this one is called their Spicy Bohemian. It is a Bohemian Pilsner with jalapeno peppers added.
Wow, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's a very good beer. It's a very good brewery. They actually expanded and moved it to a new location, and they're doing very well. This beer is actually brewed with all New England ingredients. They try to use New England grown hops and New England malts, and they use roasted jalapenos in this, and it's a very nice beer. It's very in the style of a Pilsner. It's slightly hazy, very golden beer, very carbonated, but it has a very wonderful, chili nose on it. You really get those roasted jalapenos in the nose, and of course you get some good pale and crisp malt character on the palate, and then you get that nice warming burn. So, jalapenos can be really, really spicy, and they can be mild. Now, this particular batch is not super spicy. It's kind of mild, and I actually like it a little better that it's not so spicy because it really lets the malt come through. Hops are in the nose to balance, but you're really not getting a whole lot of hop character. But what you're getting is a very good Pilsner, and you're also getting that jalapenos really coming through in the nose, somewhat on the palate and in the finish. So this is really a good showcase of chili peppers in a beer. It's fantastic. So Throwback did a real good job on this one.
Very nice. Now, roasted jalapenos, that's an interesting touch.
Yeah, I like how they did that. You know, how they do a lot of times with the chili peppers from Hatch, how they roast them first and get the skins off them, I think. And then they, I don't know what point they added them to the beer in this one, but again, you're getting that jalapeno green chili aroma, flavor, and spiciness. And the spiciness, again, isn't overwhelming, which I like. I mean, this would be very, very food friendly, this beer, especially, of course, with Mexican food. But I'm really enjoying it. So great beer.
In 1997, I was working for a, let's just say, big box store, and I was transferred to Las Cruces, New Mexico. And that was the first time that I had Hatch chilies, because every day they had the big roaster out front, and they would just roast them right in front of the store, so you could smell those roasted chilies all day long. And those Hatch chilies are just amazing.
Yeah, they are. That's a national treasure. Those Hatch chilies. I mean, if anybody's had those New Mexican chilies and are familiar with chili peppers, they know how stellar those peppers really are. And what I like about this beer is that they've roasted the jalapenos before they did it, and it kind of simulated that same effect, because when you roast chili peppers, it brings out, the oils, it brings out things in them that you wouldn't get if it was just raw. I think it was a very wise choice of them to actually roast the jalapenos first.
Well, you
Because
also bring the sugars out. You bring the sugars to the surface when you roast them.
right, it's got, like I said again, a mild uh, heat, but a good heat, and it's all the way through this beer. And this is just a very good example of a chili beer. Chili peppers and beers for me work, and this one works really, really well. And you got to give them credit because a Pilsner is really a tough style to do it with. There's nowhere to hide, with a Pilsner. It's either you get it right or you don't. So they really got it right here. And if you ever get up to New Hampshire and you visit this brewery, Throwback, they're fantastic. I was really impressed with them. I went to the brewery. I took my family there. It's on a farm. Like you go into this big barn, and the people that own it and operate are really nice people. So they brewed a number of different beer styles. So it's really a special place. So if you can ever get up to New Hampshire and you want to visit a very good brewery, Throwback Brewery.
Throwback. I'll keep them in mind.
Where
You're
are
right. When you talk about a Pilsner, anytime you put a flavor in front of a beer, you have to be able to taste whatever that flavor is without overpowering the beer. But with a Pilsner, you've got a very light bodied beer. So with a jalapeno, you have to have enough jalapeno so you can feel it to know it's in there, but not enough where it kills the beer.
Yeah, and they're in Northampton, New Hampshire. I couldn't remember where they were, but that's where they are, Northampton. So
Well, I've
too
never been to
bad.
New Hampshire, so I'll have to take a trip out there. Isn't that where
Jeff
Jeff
Lyons.
lives?
Jeff Lyons is close. He's not too far from there. He's somewhere else, a little further north, but he's been to this brewery as well. It's too bad he couldn't be in here tonight because we could have discussed this. He probably knows a little bit more about this brewery than I do, but really good beer, spicy Bohemian. So it's a seasonal from them, so you'd probably have to get it in the summer. Or that's when I got it. Was in the summer. It was very fresh when I got it, but I've kept it cold in my refrigerator for the last 6 months or so. So it's held up very well.
Well, I've got an experiment going on. Back at the end of summer last year, it was late August. Might have been beginning of September anyway. But Sam's had Sierra Nevada Nooner Pilsner cases marked down to $10.91. So I bought like 3 cases, and I still have a full case left, I think. So I'm going to do an experiment and start popping them here in the next, I don't know, between now and the next couple of months, just to see if they've lost a step. I've been waiting to see if the new ones came out because I wanted to compare a fresh one to one I've had for a while.
So explain what is Nooner to people that don't know what you're talking about.
Sierra Nevada Nooner, it's their Pilsner, their classic Pilsner.
Right, and you said you got cases of it for $10.
$10.91. Yes,
Wow.
Sam's had a markdown. I think it was like the beginning of September, if I remember correctly. Yeah, $10.91 for a case, and I ended up buying 3 cases. I think I've probably still got about a case and a half left.
Well, as long as you keep it cold or you keep it, out of the light and in the thing, it should hold up pretty well.
Well, they're still in the case box, and yeah, you're right. The trick is no direct sunlight and no constant temperature change. So I want to find. I'm waiting for a fresh one to hit the store so I can. I want to compare an absolute fresh one to one I've had for about a year just to see.
Yeah, I think it might have lost a step or two, but that's not a bad thing when you think about it. I mean, Pilsner is a style that you probably want to drink as fresh as possible. But if it's handled well and it's, like I said, stored well, it should hold up for a pretty decent amount of time. I mean, freshness with beer for the most part is, you want to drink beers as fresh as possible, but that isn't always the case with every beer style. But Pilsner's one you might want to, but it might be a little stale, but, it might be still good. So it depends how the conditions you've stored it in. So I'd be interested to see that too. Tom,
yeah, I mean, well, I'm not expecting a beer like that to improve with age, but I've done this before with other beers, and they haven't lost a step. They're still good. So, I mean, in personally, I'd rather drink a Nooner at about $260 a 6-pack even if it has lost a step, than to buy a 30-pack beer for the same price and have to drink that nasty corn.
Well, yeah, I would rather have, excuse me, I'd rather have an all malt beer that might be a little older than to drink some adjunct laden swill. And if worse comes to worse, I mean, if it doesn't taste so great, you can always cook with it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, see, that's it. Yeah, I can, sure, I can do something with it. I think it'll be fine. It may lose a step, I don't know, but I was curious to see what would happen.
Yeah, like I said, if it's going south, which I don't think it has, but if it has, well, you can boil brats in it. Big deal.
That's right. Yeah, boil broth, soak wood, do something with. Yeah, it'll be fine for something.
Sure. Use it as a marinade. It'd be perfect if you marinate chicken or you marinate ribs or something.
Yep, yep, it'll work for something. That's for sure.
Yeah. So wow, this is good. I love the chili character in this the whole way through. Wow, good beer.
I'm running out of beer, so let me give you a couple quick tasting notes. It's just a crazy complex beer because you've got the 3 yeast strains, because it's aged in bourbon barrels and burgundy barrels. I mean, you've got that floral quality from the Belgian yeast. You've got a fruitiness from the burgundy barrels, and then you've got that richness from the bourbon barrels. You got a slight smokiness coming through. You're getting hints of vanilla. There's just crazy flavors and aromas going on here. It's just one of those. Sometimes a beer like this can get too complex where the flavors don't feel cohesive, but yet with everything going on here, somehow it just works. And that's what I love about Urban Chestnut. They don't do those crazy 100-ingredient beers. They do get out of the box a little bit with their Reverence series, but they're basically to brewing tradition, and that's what I love about that brewery.
Yeah, I've had a number of their beers as well, and I got to tell you, I really, really like them a lot. What's their mole beer that they do? I forget the name. Abraxis?
No, that's Perennial.
That's Perennial. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking of Perennial. What did I have recently from Urban Chestnut that really impressed the hell out of me? Sump. Remember, it was an Imperial Stout. I was at a beer tasting. I think I sent you the picture. That was a barrel-aged Imperial Stout from Urban Chestnut.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that might have been Perennial again. I keep confusing the two.
I don't remember that one. Yeah, I recently had a stout box from them, and they had an Irish stout called Kinsale, and that thing was just crazy good. It also in a stout box there was 4 flavors, 3 were stouts, but one was a smoked doppelbock, and that thing was just amazingly good.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting Perennial and Urban Chestnut confused. I know I've had beers from both breweries. I know I enjoy both breweries very much. I know, St. Louis is a very good beer town. Let's not even talk about AB InBev, but let's talk about all the other beers that you can get in St. Louis. I know it's been a while since I've been to St. Louis, but I know Eric went out to St. Louis not too long ago, and I think he hit Schlafly, and he hit what's the other one? The Good Life, or the something. What is it? What's that other small brewery in St. Louis, Tom?
Okay, you got Schlafly, Urban Chestnut, Four Hands, Perennial Artisan. There's O'Fallon is close. What else? There's Alpha.
What's the one that's in St. Louis? Is called the Good Life or the something Life or?
Oh, Civil Life.
The Civil Life. Yeah, that's the one that he went to too, and he was really impressed with that brewery.
Civil Life is interesting. They do what they try to do is session-esque beers. Most of their stuff is fairly low alcohol, ranging from 4 to maybe 5.5%, but nothing gets too crazy or out of the box. They want to stay in that session-esque range.
Right, and I had one of their beers locally here in Northern Virginia at a World of Beer. I think it was called the Angel and the Sword.
That's a beer, boy. That's a great beer.
And I want to say, is that a mild or was that a brown ale or whatever it was? But I was blown away by how good it was.
They don't refer to style on that particular beer because I asked them. I've had it a couple different times, and they even say on their website it's a beer that kind of defies style. So that's one they've kind of played with. But boy, it's that beer's got some flavor.
Wow, it is, and it's so drinkable too. And I remember having it fresh on draft and saying, "Wow, this is great." And I remember having a second one. I liked it so much. So a lot of good breweries in the state of Missouri. So you're
Yeah, we've
very
got. I
lucky.
mean, I've got three here in Springfield. I've got Mother's, White River, and Springfield Brewing Company. I also have a distillery, Missouri Spirits House. About 2 hours from me is Piney River out in the middle of no place, which Eric visited me at. Um, there is getting to be quite a few great breweries around this neck of the woods. There's also a few further south of me in Arkansas. I mean, Springdale has Core, uh, Saddlebach, and Ozarks Beer Company. Little Rock's getting a lot of great breweries. That's becoming a great brewery town. I mean, great craft breweries are popping up in towns that you might not expect craft beer to thrive.
Well, that's the trend that we're seeing, and I think, and we discussed this before, that there are more breweries now in the United States than any other point in our history, and that's a fantastic thing because everywhere you go now, there's just a little brewery somewhere, and I think that's great. If you're into the craft beer culture and you love beer, I mean, how can you not like going to any little town and all of a sudden you find a local brewery? And for me, that's always been uh, what I like more than anything is drinking very, very local, like, the little off the wall places that you have to go out of your way for. I mean, that's why a place like Piney River appeals so much to me because that's a destination brewery. That's a brewery you've got to go out of your way for, and you're not going to get their beers unless, of course, you trade and all that. But you really have to, go there to really try it. So I love that.
Yeah, and where they opened up really is a macro light neighborhood. You know what I mean? I mean, it's out in the middle of no place. It's. I mean, it's you go to all the bars out there, and it's mostly macro lights. And somehow they were able to put a craft brewery out there. About 2 hours from Springfield. What they're about 2 hours. They're about 2 hours out of St. Louis. So not really close to anywhere, and yet somehow they've been able to do well.
Well, it's a testament of how good their product is. I mean, if they can do well, and they're out in the middle of nowhere, that really says something to me.
So I had to buy this product just out of curiosity. I did a Beer Whisperer pub video with John Sharon out of Indiana, and he was drinking this best damn cherry cola, and he
I saw
really
that.
liked it. So I had to buy it, and I gotta tell you, I don't like it at all.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that in the market. It's $9. I passed. I got to
Yeah,
tell you.
I gotta tell you, I mean, the aromas aren't horrific, but the flavors, what it tastes like is an off-brand cola with cherry cough syrup added. You remember, you and I are near the same age. When we were kids, you'd get that cherry cough syrup that would coat the back of your throat.
Yeah, Robitussin.
Yeah, that's what this tastes like. It's just is absolutely horrid.
I'm not, like I said, I like some of the hard root beers. I like the Sprecker's root beer. The regular root beer actually better than their hard root beer. But Sprecher does a very good hard root beer. I like the Coney Island. I thought the Not Your Father's was actually the worst of all of them, even though that's the one that really took off. I thought that one wasn't very good at all. I haven't tried the Best Damn Root Beer because I know it's an AB InBev product and I refuse to buy it. Like you and John were saying, and I watched that video that you guys did. This is really for college chicks. This is a girl's drink. This is for people that really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, this is this generation's Bartles and James or California coolers.
Exactly, Tom. I remember the wine coolers in the 80s, California coolers, Bottles and James, Matilda Bay. It's all that crap that nobody, but the people who didn't want to drink beer or didn't want to drink hard booze, they wanted to taste something sweet and they could drink and it would get them, hammered, but they wouldn't taste the alcohol. That's exactly what this stuff is. So, it tastes like cream soda. It tastes like, it's supposed to taste like ginger ale. It's supposed to taste like root beer. I can stomach some of the root beer ones, but when you're getting into the orange cream ones and the ginger ale ones, unless you're going to use them for a mixer or something, I think I'll pass. This cherry cola one, to me, I wouldn't even touch it. It looks like garbage to me. Sorry.
Yeah, you made it sound so appetizing that I had to try it, and I'm just not digging it. I did a video for it, and then I had to do a second video using it as a highball mixer, and that's the only way I found it palatable was was to put bourbon in it, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to add 1 ounce of wild turkey to what I've got left here. And what that bourbon does is it takes that artificial cherry flavor down a notch to where it's palatable. The cherry flavor in this is so obviously artificial that it's just almost undrinkable to me.
Yeah, well, some people like it. John seemed to enjoy it. He's an interesting cat, that guy. I tell you, he likes everything, and
He
there
does.
are people,
He does.
there are people that actually do like everything, and I'm kind of like that. I mean, I like I said, I've said this to you before, and I've said this to other people. You know, drinking swill, drinking craft beer isn't mutually exclusive. You can like it all, and there are people that like it all. You know, the older I've gotten, I kind of like beer and, you know, for flavor, and I don't want to taste, you know, adjuncts. So I don't drink malt liquor that much anymore. I don't drink adjunct filled beers. I mean, I can still stomach some of them. I can still drink some of them ice cold. I can pound them down. I mean, if I went to a party and somebody offered me, you know, a swill, I'd rather not drink it, but I'm not going to refuse it, you know. But it's like, we've come a long way, and you go to parties now and there's not swill. People have a choice. They have the Sam Adams. They have a local choice. I mean, and then you bring to a party, you can bring a growler of a local beer and say, hey, I got a couple growlers here. Let's try this along with whatever. But yeah, the days of me drinking, you know, malt liquors and all that crap. I mean, every now and then, if I feel like it, you know, I feel like having a cheap drunk, you know, drinking something ice cold, you know, that's what it's there for. But I can't stand this nonsense about someone saying, you know, this comparatively speaking is as good as any craft beer you'll drink. That is absolute horseshit, okay? Taste is subjective. Everybody gets that. But, you know, I've noticed one thing with all these videos and all these people talking about the swills that they drink, and when they drink malt liquor and this other crap, price is the number one thing they always say. It only cost me this much. So if price and quantity is what's driving you, not quality and variety, that's all well and good. But don't tell me this is as good as a craft beer. It's not. You want to drink this shit because you want to get drunk. Tell the truth.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, and I think for most folks, not all, but for most folks, as we get older, as we become older drinkers, it does become more about quality than quantity. You're not out to just get drunk. And not that I have a problem with getting drunk, because I like to get there upon occasion, but I like to slow it down and take it there at a pace. I don't need to slam malt liquors to get there quick.
No, I would rather drink less of a quality beer than more of a cheap adjunct swill. And some people are the exact opposite. And then some people, like you said, really do like it all. And if you like it all, great. No one's judging you for what you like and what you don't like. Your taste is your own. But when you start saying, you know, a McDonald's hamburger is the same as, you know, a prime ribeye, that's just fantasy. Sorry.
Yeah, you know, the analogy I like to use also is that, you know, I mean, if you like to eat sardines on a cracker, more power to you, but don't hand me one and tell me it's sushi.
Well, again, it's you know,
don't tell me it's a sushi or it's a sushi grade fish, you know. I mean,
what do you think of this? What do you think of this horse shit that people say they have standby beers? Have you ever heard of this horse shit? What is this bullshit about having a standby beer? What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Is that the same
Standby
as a
beers.
go-to? I don't know. I mean, is that a go-to beer? Is that
It's
the
supposed to
same
be like, look, I'll drink craft beer by the singles, and I'll do all these stupid video reviews. but I'll have a refrigerator full of natural light ice. That's my standby beer. So to me, that means
I don't.
that means the beer you're going to get drunk on. You know,
Yeah. Well, I
standby
mean,
beer. The
I
stupidest term I've ever heard in my life.
well, today I bought a 12 pack of grapefruit Schlafly IPA, Schlafly grapefruit IPA. It was $12.97 a 12 pack. So break that down. That's $6.50 a 6 pack. In my beer stores, even Jenny Cream goes for $6.99 a 6 pack. So I mean, if I have a quality craft beer in Schlafly grapefruit IPA. It is a fine beer and it's a quality craft beer. It doesn't use cheap ingredients. Why would I pay $7 for something that isn't a quality beer? I guess it just depends on what you're looking for at that moment. But I guess if I had a standby beer, I mean, I would rather, do what I did back in September and buy a grunt load of Nooner marked down at Sam's, or I mean, I'm always looking for bargains. So if I find something marked down, that's going to be that's going to be my standby beer. I'm not going to buy a 30-pack beer just so I have beer available.
No, here's my standby beer. My standby beer is whatever I went shopping for that day. That's it. Whatever I got in my beer fridge, which is all craft beer, is my standby beer. I can drink any beer style, and I like drinking a number of different beer styles. I don't sit there and drink swill to get hammered. I just drink whatever craft beer I have in my refrigerator. If I don't have any in my refrigerator, I'll either go out to a brewery and get a couple growlers, or I'll go to my beer store and I'll buy more craft beer. If I want beer that maybe I want to drink more than a couple of at one time, maybe I'll go to Aldi and I'll pick up Gerstengurner, which is a German Pils, which is very affordable. I think I sent you a picture today that they've got some kind of stout now at Aldi. Aldi
Yeah,
has.
I'm gonna go to
Yeah,
all these. I'm gonna try. I might go sometime this weekend just to see if I can find that. Yeah, yeah.
Aldi is
How do you pronounce it? The Wurstengruner?
Gerstengurner. Yeah, you'll see it.
Wurstengruner. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's a
I've had it before. It runs $5.99 a 6.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little more in some markets, but there you have a perfect example of a Reinheitsgebot Pilsner it's as good as any beer you're going to try. It's world class, actually, and you're paying about $6 a 6 pack for it. So why would I drink Swill when I have a beer like that at Aldi available to me? And it's not just Aldi. You can, and Tom, you've shown over and over again that you can budget shop for craft beer, and you don't have to spend that much more, and you can drink good beer. And
Yeah,
again,
but I might not always be able to buy everything. I mean, of course, I mean, we've talked about this before. There's the whale hunters out there and the tickers that want to buy everything that's out there. And I like to buy all the good stuff as well, but sometimes your budget doesn't allow that. But it doesn't mean you have to buy 30-pack beer. You can buy good beer if you pay attention and buy what's on sale.
yeah. Well, and again, if you like just pouring alcohol down your throat, fine. But again, don't be telling me that this is as good as any craft beer you're going to drink. It's not. There's reasons people drink what they drink. And if price is driving you, okay, fine. But just be honest about it. Please stop bullshitting me and trying to tell me, light beer and malt liquor is as good as any craft beer. It's horse shit.
Well, I mean, personally, for me, I'd rather buy less. But I mean, there's even kind of pseudo crafts out there that are better than the 30-pack beers that you can buy at a reasonable price. I mean, I can get a Dundee 12 packs for about $10.99. It's not necessarily great craft beer, but they are decent representations of the style, and it's certainly better than drinking adjunct-laden beers.
Exactly. So what time you got, Tom? I think we'll wrap this one up. What do you figure?
It's 9:01. I think we've been at it about 30 minutes. Are you done?
Yeah, let's call it quits on this one. If you want to do another one, we'll set another one up.
All right, let me take my last swallow. Red, you got any parting words?
No, not really. Like I said, if you can get up to New Hampshire again, go to Throwback Brewery. It's an excellent brewery, and I'll reiterate the fact that there are a lot of great craft beers out there at very affordable prices if you know how to shop correctly. And if you want to drink good, you can drink good on a budget. You don't have to drink 30 packs of Keystone Light or, Country Club or whatever other garbage is, on sale for $3 a six pack.
And if you're ever in my neck of the woods or in St. Louis, to be more specific, Urban Chestnut really is a must. I mean, their brewer is German born. Their home run swing is German styles, but they do a lot of other stuff that's just crazy good as well. So there you go. Hey, I'm Tony the Beer Whisperer. I'm hanging out with Red at the Beer Whisperer Pub, and we're going to close for now, but we might be back. Who knows?